15-year-old Aisha Carter entered the precinct that day for a simple errand, but left humiliated and forever changed. An officer forcibly cut her hair, mocking her in front of everyone. Seconds later, her father, a renowned civil rights attorney, stormed in, demanding justice. What unfolded not only shook the precinct, but ignited a movement that would echo across the nation. But before we get to that, let's rewind and understand how it all. Aisha Carter wasn't your average teenager. At just 15, she had a quiet strength that radiated confidence beyond her years. Her tightly coiled twists, styled into an elegant crown, were more than just. Her look was effortless, but it was her poise that left an impression on everyone who saw her. The precinct, however, was no place for admiration. Its cold, sterile atmosphere was unwelcoming. The bright fluorescent lights and the faint smell of disinfectant only added to the unease. As Aisha stood at the reception desk, her fingers lightly fidgeted with the strap of her crossbody bag. Inside the bag were the documents her mother had asked her to collect. She had rehearsed her words, determined to get the errand done without drawing attention to herself, but the environment didn't make it easy. The precinct was buzzing with noise, officers exchanging words, phones ringing, and the occasional clang of a door slamming shut. Aisha kept her gaze low, instinctively avoiding eye contact. She knew that attention in a place like this was rarely good. Unfortunately, attention found her anyway. Officer Harris, a stocky man in his late 40s with a reputation for being brash, spotted her from across the room. His boots echoed on the tiled floor as he approached, his smirk widening with every step. "What are you doing here, kid?" he asked, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Lose your way to the salon." Aisha's cheeks flushed, but she didn't let his words rattle her. She straightened her posture and replied calmly, "I'm here to pick up paperwork for my mom." Harris wasn't satisfied. He chuckled, his tone mocking. "Oh, paperwork, huh? Filing complaints about bad fashion choices?" His words drew laughter from a few officers nearby. Aisha felt her fists clench at her sides, but she refused to give him the reaction he wanted. She stayed silent, her lips pressed into a firm line. Her silence seemed to embolden him further. "We've got rules here, you know," Harris continued, his smirk growing. "No distracting hairstyles allowed. Maybe I should fix it for you." Before she could process his words, Harris grabbed a pair of clippers from a nearby desk. The sound of the clippers buzzing broke through the noise in the precinct, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. "Don't you dare," Aisha said, her voice trembling but firm as she stepped back. Harris smirked. "Relax, it's just a joke," he said mockingly, moving closer to her. Aisha tried to back away, but Harris's broad frame cornered her against the desk. Before she could react, his rough hand gripped her shoulder, pinning her in place. The clippers roared to life, and with a quick motion, a section of her intricately styled twists fell to the floor. "Stop!" she screamed, her voice cutting through the room. Tears welled in her eyes as she struggled to free herself, but Harris's grip was too strong. The room, once filled with murmurs and laughter, fell silent. The other officers and civilians stood frozen, their expressions shifting from amusement to shock. Harris finally let go, stepping back as if nothing had happened. "Relax, kid. It's just hair, it'll grow back," he said nonchalantly, still holding the clippers. Aisha bolted out of the precinct, her trembling hands clutching her head. Tears streamed down her face as she stumbled onto the sidewalk. With shaky fingers, she pulled out her phone and dialed. "Dad," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Please come, I need you." James Carter arrived within minutes. At over 6 feet tall, with a commanding presence, he was impossible to ignore. His sharp navy blue suit and polished shoes exuded professionalism, but it was the fiery determination in his eyes that silenced the room as he entered. "Where's Officer Harris?" he demanded, his deep voice resonating through the precinct. Harris stepped forward, but his bravado was gone. "It was just a joke," he stammered, avoiding eye contact. James's expression hardened. "You forcibly cut a minor's hair, humiliated her in public, and now you call it a joke." He said, his voice sharp and unwavering, "This isn't a joke, it's an assault. And I'll make sure the world knows about it." Aisha stepped forward, holding her phone. With a steady hand, she pressed play. The room filled with the sound of the buzzing clippers and Harris's mocking voice. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Harris's face paled as the weight of the evidence sank in. The video went viral, sparking national outrage. Protesters gathered outside the precinct, chanting Aisha's name and demanding justice. Officer Harris was suspended immediately, and an internal investigation began. At a press conference, James stood beside Aisha and her mother. "This is bigger than my daughter," he said firmly. "This is about every child who has been mistreated by those sworn to protect them." The case went to trial, and Harris was found guilty of misconduct. He was sentenced to community service, and the Carter family won a civil suit that pushed for reforms within the police department. For Aisha, the experience was painful but transformative. By the end of the year, she was speaking at schools and rallies, sharing her story and advocating for justice. She turned her pain into a powerful mission, determined to ensure no other child would endure what she had faced. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Unfolded Tales Explained. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with more stories that change perspectives. And don't forget to subscribe to my other channel, Unfolded Chapters, for even more life-changing stories. The link is in the description below. Go check it out now.